J. Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana. Across the Red River from downtown is beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. Come check us out. Let's see. There we go. I was like, I flipped my camera around. I hope everybody's had a good day. What I did was I went to Spring Hill with a few friends from my recovery group, and we went to support a neighboring recovery group. But the drive out in the country was wonderful. It was great, and I reconnected with a couple of people. One of the ladies I see pretty frequently. One of the other ladies, not so much. She's married, raising a family, and has a full-on career. And so I don't see her as much as we used to. But it was really fun. It was great. And the cool thing is that one of the ladies, the reason why I got the idea that I wanted to go on a cruise some years ago is that she was telling me about a cruise that she went on, and I was like, you know what, I want to go on a cruise. And then I got that idea, and then it just kind of sat in the back of my head for a while, taking a cruise until and this is way back when I was over the Fairmont, that building right there that I'm circling with my finger, right there, that building, that is the Fairmont. The Fairmont Towers luxury apartments, and everything in that statement is true except for the luxury part. The luxury, there wasn't a luxurious thing about that, but it was nice to. It was nice to. Let me fluff my hair. I just took it out of the ponytail that I wore it in all day, and so it's all frizzy and stuff. I'm trying to But anyway, yeah, it was fun. It was fun, and then yeah, I reconnect. I'm glad I'm looking out here because it's like I need to go over there and fix that curtain. I didn't realize I was able to see all through the side right there or whatever. It's been so hot lately in the last week or so. We're not the only part of the region of the country that's had that heat wave going on, but yeah. As a matter of fact, hang on. So these. The reason why the curtain was bundled up was because I had went in yesterday to get a couple of these for an art project that I was going to take over to my friend Mike's house yesterday, and we didn't get around to doing it. But yeah, Mike and his partner Mindy, they invited me to their house, and because my air conditioner's been out, and it's been out since Sunday. Although the management of my apartment building, they did bring in a small portable plug-in unit that sits in the room, has a little tube that goes outside, and what it does is as it pulls in air, it dehumidifies and cools the air and circulates it through the apartment, and then the water that gets dehumidified drains into a bucket that I get to empty every few hours. How fun is that, right? I guess I could let it drain into like a really, really large bucket, but I don't want to deal with that. So I've got like a small mop bucket that I let it drain into. And then every few hours I do that, I empty it. So, but, yeah. As luck would have it, the air conditioning broke down while the head maintenance guy is on a continued education thing for his maintenance. You have to go and you have to, those things that you get those certifications for and everything, you've got to keep doing them. There are certain things that you get like a training for, and they have to keep that up. So it's not like you just come in and do some stuff. So that's interesting. uh, you know, and how fun, you know. But just my luck, I've had to deal with it right in the middle of like this, you know, hell on earth kind of week that we've had of like temperatures like, oh my god, we're gonna die, you know. And this is the southern United States. It gets pretty freaking hot. And in this particular area, I don't even have an ocean breeze to cool off, so it was fine. Uh, but I'm a guy who manages to get through things like that. Uh, and fortunately, right across from my door, my front door that comes into the apartment, out in the hallway on the third floor here, there's a large air conditioning unit that cools like the entire hallway. There's a unit on the first floor and there's a unit on the third floor, and I happen to be nearly directly across from the main unit that cools that hallway. So I really just close off the rest, like this bedroom and that bedroom, my main bedroom and this bedroom, because I sit up at night watching TV anyway. And I have a couch that I can sleep on. I've got some recliners that I can lie back on. I've kind of pushed the dining table to one side of the room to make easy passage when I'm emptying the bucket from the temporary unit. I'll show you my rig up in a second when I go in there. But yeah, and then basically so every 3 or 4 hours, bucket gets about 2/3 of the way full. I go ahead and dump it, and then I've got some 2 love seats and 2 gray love seats. They're about as comfortable as car seats or whatever, but they fold down into a bed. And I bought 2 of them because I figured, I don't know, at the time that I bought them, they were affordable for me, and so I bought both of them, and I'm glad that I did, because one of them wouldn't be big enough to lie around on and read and stuff, but 2 of them together are, and so let's go inside and I'll show you. Now forgive the wreck that this place is in here. Oh, and then let me show you. I have this crystal necklace that I've wrapped around this bottle that I'm going to leave out because we are about to move into the ribbons waxing phase of the moon, and so I'm just going to let it sit out here for a few days until after the passing of the full moon, the phase of the full moon. I don't necessarily know that the full moon charges the crystal any better than the moonlight, just in general. But yeah, let me see. These are the sofas, and so the little love seats, and so they fold up, and then they'll fold down, and so I can lie around on them. And then there's this little thing. And it's cooling better now. Like, it's 77 right now. A lot of times, not. Now, it's cooling to 77, but it feels a little bit cooler in here than 77. But 78, whoa, 77, going once, going twice. Okay, and then here's the little bucket that this little water. So this, you get one of these if you have air, you know, if you just get one of these and just have it. I think even if they're going to supply this, I think what I might want to do is I might want to get something like this and have, just in case there's ever another emergency, because you never know. You never know when something might happen and you might want something like this. But anyway, I've been a little hot and sweaty, and that's why I've not made too many videos in the last couple of days. But even if I don't speak to you and talk to you every day, if I don't post a video every day, if you're out there and you're alive and you've got you know, a, a sentient existence and just know that no matter who you are, I love you. I'm going to tell you a little story. I know that there's gentleness in the most savage among us. And I know this because when I was in my very early 20s, and I mean, not even old enough to legally buy alcohol, maybe like 20, I don't think I'd turned 21 yet, 20. And so, maybe. I don't know. What I do remember is being in Kentucky, and I was in a jail in Kentucky. It wasn't a jail, it was a prison. I was in a prison in Kentucky. But it was minimum security, but it also functioned as pre-release for people who had been serving really long sentences and were going to re-enter society. It served as a pre-release. So I would see these people who had committed the most heinous of crimes, not someone who just got caught up in a little foolishness, like sometimes people do, and they might have to go get some institutional correction, whatever. But no, I've seen some of the most vicious people at this place, but they had nearly completed their sentence and they were getting ready to go back in society. Well, near where they did, and we wore our own clothes and carried our own money and everything. And we had like little jobs around the little place and everything that we took care of so we could earn our little money for our commissary. And where these people were, at the commissary, there was a tree. And in the tree lived the squirrels. And so people did not have very much money at all here in this jail, getting ready for pre-release, and the little jobs that they did to earn what little bit of money they could get each week. Maybe if I were to say it was $20 a week, it would be that would be a generous statement. So among that, they would spend $3 or $4 to buy peanuts, a bag of peanuts, roasted peanuts or whatever, that they could eat. But they almost always didn't eat the peanuts. They almost always got down on their knees and their hands and knees and hand fed these little squirrels. They would take the peanuts in their shells and they would offer it to the squirrel, and these little tiny little creatures would come up and take the peanuts out of the human's hands. They were trained to do that. They would come up and wrap their little bitty squirrel fingers, their little squirrel hands with their little tiny little squirrel digits, and take the peanut and then run back up to the tree or something like that. But these people who had done, some of them, some pretty monstrous things, were at that moment gentle enough that a tiny little creature upon the earth was not afraid of this great big giant person that could, kill them in the end of their existence or whatever. They didn't know fear of these people, and in the absence of judgment of fear, because even some of us in that were there, we were like, okay, if there's a guy that's done something really vicious and bad, had the bad reputation, and it'll give him a wide, kind of give that man some room because he's a dangerous one or whatever. From an observation, to see someone in the absence of being in a vacuum from the judgment of people, they would come down there and they would interact with this tiny little creature that had no judgment of fear upon them. And so these people would become some of the most wonderful, gentlest, harmless things, people, that could be the monsters became the most harmless uh, thing in that moment, and I think that's wonderful. So when I say that I do not even have to know you personally to know that wherever you are, whatever you've been through, whatever you're going through, you are a good person, and whatever you are and whatever you have, you are enough for whatever it is that you want to achieve. You truly are. And even if I don't know you personally, please know that from a distance here, that I really do. I do care for you, and I do love you. And when I say that, I am entirely sincere. And it's because of that experience that I have, where I was in jail from dealing with some mistakes that I made, dealing with, you know, uh, my mistakes and that I needed to reconcile with society. I was handling my business, doing that, and I say that without shame because it was just some things that I did, and then uh, I learned from it and went on. And I'm not going to say that I sinned no more, but I definitely sinned a lot more carefully. But anyway, um, yeah, I just realized that among the most beastly among us, there are tender moments of gentleness, and in those moments, we're all worthy of love, and I love you, and love and light. God bless. Good night.